Illinois, the land of Lincoln. It's a place etched in the American story. Honest Abe, the rail splitter, a beacon of integrity. But Illinois has a dark side, a history of political corruption, a legacy of shady deals and broken promises. From the early days of patronage and machine politics, Illinois has wrestled with a culture of corruption. Powerful figures have often treated the public coffers as their own. This betrayal of public trust has cast a long shadow over the state. Generations of Illinois politicians have fallen from grace. Their crimes vary: bribery, extortion, embezzlement. Yet the outcome is often the same: a cynical public and a weakened democracy. The stories of Betty Loren-Maltese and Tiffany Henyard are the latest chapters in this saga. They offer a stark reminder of the persistent threat to good governance. Betty Loren-Maltese cut a striking figure in the rough-and-tumble world of Cicero politics. A widow, a tough-talking leader. She was not afraid to wield power. Loren-Maltese became the town president in 1993. She inherited a legacy. Cicero was a town with a reputation for corruption. She was married to Frank Maltese. He was the town assessor. He had ties to organized crime. This connection would later haunt Loren-Maltese. Despite the shadow of her husband's past, she vowed to clean up Cicero. She promised transparency. She pledged to fight for the people. Her words resonated with voters. Loren-Maltese quickly gained a reputation. She was a strong leader. She was known for her sharp tongue and her fierce loyalty to Cicero. She oversaw public works projects. She improved services. For a time, it seemed she was living up to her promises. But under the surface, darkness brewed. The year 2001 brought a dramatic downfall for Betty Loren-Maltese. Federal agents indicted her. The charges were serious: racketeering, fraud, money laundering. The indictment alleged a massive scheme. Millions of dollars were stolen from Cicero's coffers. Prosecutors argued that Loren-Maltese used her power to enrich herself and her cronies. They pointed to lavish spending, expensive vacations, questionable contracts. The evidence was damning. It painted a picture of greed and betrayal. In 2002, a jury found Loren-Maltese guilty. She was sentenced to 8 years in prison. The sentence sent shockwaves through Illinois. The Iron Lady of Cicero was brought down. Her legacy was tarnished. Loren-Maltese's conviction marked a turning point. It showed that even powerful figures were not above the law. It reinforced the need for vigilance against corruption. Tiffany Henyard burst onto the political scene with a promise of change. She was young, she was charismatic, and she was determined to make a difference. In 2021, Henyard made history. She became the first female mayor of Dolton. It was a historic victory. Henyard campaigned on a platform of transparency. She pledged to bring new businesses to Dolton. She promised to improve the lives of residents. Her message resonated with voters. They were hungry for change. They placed their trust in her. Henyard's victory was seen as a sign of progress. She represented a new generation of leadership. Her rise inspired many. She was a beacon of hope. But her tenure would soon be mired in controversy. Section 5. The Unraveling: Henyard's Controversial Reign. Tiffany Henyard's tenure as mayor was marked by turmoil. Allegations of misconduct surfaced. Whispers of financial impropriety has grown louder. Henyard faced accusations of using taxpayer money for personal gain, lavish trips, luxury purchases. Her actions drew scrutiny from the public and law enforcement. Dolton's financial situation may have worsened allegedly under Henyard's leadership. The city faced a budget deficit. Questions arose about her management of funds. Henyard's critics accused her of misusing her authority. They pointed to a pattern of favoritism and retaliation against opponents. Henyard defended herself against the allegations. She maintained her innocence. She claimed the accusations were politically motivated, but she continues to attend the meetings. Section 6. Parallel Paths, Divergent Styles. Comparing Loren-Maltese and Henyard. Betty Loren-Maltese and Tiffany Henyard. Two women in power, both accused of betraying the public trust. Their stories, while separated by time, reveal striking parallels. Both rose to power in towns with histories of corruption. Both promised reform. Both faced allegations of using their positions for personal gain. But there are differences. Loren-Maltese was a product of an old political machine. Her ties to organized crime loomed large. Henyard, on the other hand, represented a new generation. Her alleged misconduct centered on personal enrichment and abuse of power. Despite these differences, the underlying theme remains the same. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The stories of Loren-Maltese and Henyard serve as cautionary tales. However, Loren-Maltese and Henyard differ in one significant way. Tiffany has never been to jail for corruption. Section 7. The Shadow of Corruption. Erosion of Public Trust. The scandals surrounding Loren-Maltese and Henyard highlight a disturbing trend. Corruption erodes public trust. When officials betray their oath, citizens become cynical. They lose faith in the system. This can have a devastating impact on democracy. When people believe their leaders are corrupt, they are less likely to participate in the political process. They may not vote. They may not engage in civic life. This apathy can allow corruption to flourish. The consequences of corruption extend beyond the political realm. It can stifle economic growth. It can undermine the rule of law. It can create a climate of fear and distrust. Section 8. The Price of Power, Accountability, and the Future of Illinois Politics. The cases of Betty Loren-Maltese and Tiffany Henyard underscore the importance of accountability. No one is above the law. Elected officials must be held responsible for their actions. This requires a multi-pronged approach. Law enforcement agencies must investigate allegations of corruption. Prosecutors must hold corrupt officials accountable. The media must play a watchdog role, and citizens must demand transparency. Education is also crucial. Young people need to understand the importance of ethics and integrity. They need to be taught about the dangers of corruption, and they need to be empowered to speak out against it. Section 9. Conclusion. The stories of Betty Loren-Maltese and Tiffany Henyard are stark reminders of the fragility of democracy. They highlight the corrosive nature of corruption, and they underscore the need for constant vigilance. The fight against corruption is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires a sustained effort from all stakeholders. By demanding transparency, holding officials accountable, and fostering a culture of ethics, we can help ensure that the land of Lincoln lives up to its ideals. Only then can we restore faith in our government and build a brighter future for Illinois.